Hey my friends, how's it going? It's Ultimus, and today I want to be doing a video here going over my top 5 things Warlords of Draenor did right. Now, I know that's kind of a controversial topic, and most people are probably like, "Pfft, Warlords of Draenor did nothing right. The game was garbage, the expansion was garbage," but that's part of why I wanted to make this video. With so much negativity going on about Warlords of Draenor, and I will say it was not the perfect expansion, nor was it anywhere near the expansion that we were hyped up and excited about. But I do want to say that I think there are some things that Warlords of Draenor did right, and I would like to address those here today. Maybe, if anything else, to try to add a little bit of positivity into the WoW community. So, here we go. Number 5 on my list is music. The music in Warlords of Draenor I thought was absolutely superb. One of my favorite zones, Shadowmoon Valley, as I'm having showcased here. Figured it would be kind of pointless to talk about the music but not have it playing. For the first time since Wrath of the Lich King in Burning Crusade, I actually quested and went through these zones with the music on. Normally when I play WoW, I'm listening to other music, or I'm watching a video. I'm either watching a stream, or I'm watching a YouTube video, or a show, whatever it is. And in this particular case, when it came to Warlords of Draenor, I actually quested with the music on. I thought it was very well suited and appropriate for each zone. Not just Shadowmoon Valley, but the raids, the dungeons, the different zones from Gorgrond and Spires of Iraq, etc. All of them. This is some of the first music that I've enjoyed in a very long time in World of Warcraft. Especially really comparing it to Wrath of the Lich King. Some of the best I've heard in a long time. So that's my number 5 for things that Warlords of Draenor did right. Number 4 for me on my list of things I enjoyed the most about Draenor, or that I thought Draenor did right, was the questing and leveling. Now, I almost split these up into 2 separate points because I feel like they are separate points. They just tend to obviously go hand in hand together quite often, but I figured I'd jumble them together because I wanted to make room for one other point. The questing and leveling is some of the most I have enjoyed in a long time. The way they present and tell the story and take you through it, from all the little extra ways to just blaze through it, the bonus objectives, all the treasure scattered throughout Draenor. It made it fun to explore. It made it fun to walk around and go see what was places. And especially once you got add-ons like Draenor Treasure Finder, all that stuff like that. It lets you know where things were. And it helped you maximize your time spent to get the most experience out of your time in Draenor. Couple that with, of course, all the XP potions and things you can stack with heirlooms, the Gorgrond power leveling method for yourself and all that. Whether you wanted to take it slow with all of your tunes and enjoy the story time and time again, or just power level through all of it, it was up to you, obviously, but I just found that either way, the questing was enjoyable, and the dungeons weren't half bad either. For the most time, all the characters that I've taken through Draenor content, I've only recently started doing the Gorgrond power leveling method on the last few. But the 4 main tunes that I pretty much played through Draenor, I leveled up all the way through level 90 to 100, or yeah. And I enjoyed it. I didn't ever find it to be much of a grind. From the music, the quests themselves, the environments, the way it was, again, seamlessly put together. I thought it carried your character through. There wasn't really any gaps or awkward points where you're like, great, now where do I go? I never really felt lost. I didn't ever feel like I didn't know what was going on. And it just, I enjoyed the way they presented the story into the questing in Draenor. Overall, it made for a very enjoyable questing and leveling experience. And I like that there were options too. Like, I wasn't just forced to quest. I could reduce the time spent questing and spend more time doing bonus objectives and treasure hunting. And that was worth my time because those treasures are worth bomb experience. And to me, that makes it worth it because there's actually an incentive there to continue logging in, to keep playing, to keep leveling alts. And I'm not just going through the same repetitive grind over and over and over again. So that's why questing and leveling gets my number 4 spot. Number 3 on my list of things I thought Warlords of Draenor did right was the Garrison Missions. Now, garrisons are the point of much controversy, and I will agree that there was a lot of negativity and things that backfired when it came to garrisons. They were a good idea, I think, on paper, but the actual execution definitely fell short. One specific point being the isolation effect. The whole idea of having a home base was cool, but feeling alone and by yourself so often was definitely one of the downsides to it. But the one thing I will say that garrisons did very, very well was the mission table. Now, it can be kind of a chore to maintain, don't get me wrong, but the variety of rewards you can get from it definitely made it worth it. From gear for alts to actual treasure boxes containing raid tier gear. So being able to pull together some of those transmogs or offset pieces and things like that made it really fun. For someone like me who doesn't PvE very much, and I'm never going to get into PvE even with the gear, I like being able to still have some of those pieces for transmogging, which is really, really cool. Being able to pick up as much extra gold as possible, whether it's from the gold missions themselves or things that I can turn on and sell. That kind of stuff is really nice. It definitely helps keep that cash flow flowing, taking advantage of all the alts I have, turning them into giant money makers, which is really cool. Everything from novelty toys, extra oil for your missions, all those things like that, the honor points, the Apexis crystals, all of it, I thoroughly enjoyed. I even liked kind of min-maxing some of my followers on a few of my different alts and stuff like that. Some of them I don't really care. I just go for a certain amount of treasure finders and all that kind of stuff, and then I'm good with that. But for the most part, I really enjoyed the variety of rewards and things that I can get from the Garrison mission table, being able to either turn around and sell to other players or just back for gold either way. Not to mention, it's kind of fun, especially like getting those boxes every so often. I usually end up getting about one a week on each of my characters, and so I'll be able to open that each week. It's kind of fun because it's like a surprise. I don't know. It's silly maybe, and I know this one's probably going to be the point of a lot of controversy, and people are probably going to disagree with me on this one. And I'm okay with that because I know this is just something that I'm doing to share my own thoughts on it. So this is why Garrison Missions and the Garrison Mission Rewards specifically takes my number 3 spot for things I thought Warlords of Draenor did right or well. Number 2 on my list of top 5 things Warlords of Draenor did right was the gear sets. I really wasn't sure what to call this one because I don't remember there being an official name for it. But basically the system that allows you to switch between specs and only need one set of gear. On all of your main pieces, if you remember, they basically added this feature in Warlords of Draenor that swapped over your main stats. So if I went to Ret on my Paladin here, the strength there that is grayed out would be swapped out or swapped into from the intellect. The stamina, critical strike, and multi-strike would remain, but this made it a lot easier to get over into and play your off specs that you wanted. Because before you had to maintain 2 completely unique sets of gear for each spec, and that made it quite difficult to be able to keep up with multiple tunes and multiple specs depending on your playstyle, how often you had to play, etc., etc. With Warlords of Draenor, with this system, as you guys know, all you need to replace officially is the smaller pieces, neck, back, rings, trinkets, which is a big deal. Because even though, sure, maybe what you have for your main spec may not be best in slot for your off spec, but it makes it a lot easier to get into that tune and start leveling them up and or playing them, gearing them up, rather than having to start from scratch and build a completely new set of gear. That system alone was a big change for me. I enjoyed it, and I'm surprised it wasn't in the game earlier, but it's one of those changes I feel like is better late than never, and so I'm glad it's here to stay. It's definitely made it a lot more fun to maintain and play different tunes. And overall, I think it added a good quality of life change to the game. Because I think there's a time and a place for grinds, but maintaining multiple sets of gear for multiple specs just isn't it, I don't think. So that's why the only needing one gear system, I don't even know what to call it, like I said, is going to take my number 2 spot for top 5 things Warlords of Draenor did right. And last but not least, taking my number 1 slot for top 5 things Warlords of Draenor did right, the gear. And this isn't just for warriors, this is across the board for all classes, I feel. I feel like this expansion has some of the best looking gear we have seen in a long time. The design, the animations, the colors, all of it I think is utterly superb. From the PvP gear to the raid tiers, even some of the leveling and questing gears, commonly found greens, challenge mode weapons, all of it. I think this is some of the better gear I have seen in a long time, and I'm currently showcasing one of my favorite warrior tier sets at the moment. This was the first full epic PvP set we got as warriors in Warlords of Draenor, and it's to this day one of my favorite sets to go back and transmog. I love it. I love the design. I love just the textures on it, the color scheme. I just love the way this feels. It feels like a warrior set. It just feels so perfect. Matched with, of course, the polearm from challenge modes, makes for a legit set. And of course, I'm not exclusive to this. You've seen some of my other transmogs that I don on a fairly regular basis. But overall, I think the gear is probably one of my favorite things that has been added and changed to Warlords of Draenor. Not really much of a change, of course, aside from the fact that every expansion tends to have a theme behind all of its gear, to where it tends to feel very similar. If you remember from Wrath of the Lich King, everything was very thick and heavy to kind of give it that feel of you're trying to keep yourself warm as you're out in the frozen north, and if the Lich King doesn't kill you, the frozen environments will. So everything here in Warlords of Draenor felt very rugged, very primal, very raw and jagged, and I feel like they came across very well with a lot of these armor sets and accomplished that feel. Again, maybe I'm a little biased towards this, and I feel like it's definitely one of the problems we as warriors have. We have gear problems. We just love to hoard all the gear. We're the hoarders of World of Warcraft. But I feel like this one I'm not alone in. This is one I can say very confidently that this is one of the better things that Warlords of Draenor has done right, for sure. So guys, that's going to do it for this video. I want to know what you think are the top 5 things, or a couple of things at least, Warlords of Draenor did right. Let me know if you agree with my list, disagree. Was there one point you're just like, I don't know about that one, Ultimus. I think you're crazy for liking that one. I want to know what you think. What were some of your favorite features that Warlords of Draenor added? Because let's be real, it wasn't all bad. I think if we're honest with ourselves, while Warlords of Draenor may have been one of the most lackluster expansions we've seen for World of Warcraft, it wasn't all horrible. And I think adding a little positivity to the community might do it some good. So, again, let me know in the comment section what you think, and I'm looking forward to reading your responses. So, as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on all the different social media platforms we got listed throughout the page, and I'll catch you next time.